What's going on YouTube is Donnie B all day, bringing you a Frost Cutlery folder. Now, I've had some good luck, some bad luck with a few of these. Some have been absolutely horrendous. Some have been pretty decent. Some have been what I expected them to be. Some have actually surprised me. Let's find out. This one right here is called the TacForce. TacForce. That's all one word. The TacForce. The TacForce. I don't freaking know. But let's just go over the appearance first. It's fairly ugly. All right, the this ribbed plastic body. I mean, it has some grip, but it's a hard plastic. Yeah. It's a hard plastic, not all that great. Does have a lanyard hole, is a spine lock. I can appreciate that. Is it a quick deploy? It can be, as long as you work it right. It does have a deep pocket clip, which is not the best, because if I just flick it with my thumb, look at that, it doesn't bend back all the way. I have to push it back. Watch this. Okay, it's touching. Open it. It's not touching. Close it. It's touching. Will it connect to a pocket? Yeah, sure. Why not? But is it all that great? No. One positive is it is ground on both sides for an edge. So you do have an actual edge and not a half edge like you see on some of them. It does have a thumb stud. You can switch it if you really want to. I'm a lefty, so it helps to have it on this side. But on knives like this, I just don't really care. What do I have on me right now? Ah, that's right. I have a buck 110 on me right now. So this isn't going to replace this. I'm not worried about that. So I'm not really worried about the thumb stud. Let's see. I have so much trouble with some of these. This shape right here, that little cutout, I mean, you can put your finger here, but that really does nothing. Then you can put your finger here, I guess, if you want to get real blurry. And you can try and skim with it. And I guess what we'll do is we'll actually test that out and see if it works. I'll try and do a little skinning if it survives that point. As far as, is it tight? No. It's out of the box a wobbler. I know you can't hear it, but you can see that wobble. Yeah, you can see that right there. There's no steel liners. It's just plastic all the way through, aside from the spine lock, the clip and the blade, obviously. So let's get started here. Let's see if this thing is gonna at least be shave sharp. I can feel that it's sharp, but it feels like it should be sharper than it is. It is not shave sharp. I cut one hair in half. Buy these, they're excellent. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little testing. I remember when I do my tests, especially on things like this, the testing I do is not exactly what it's made to do. This thing is made to just be a little everyday carry, you know, package opener, and maybe cut some twine with it. It's not really made to go against wood. It's not made for cutting open like water bottles and stuff. And even though it has this little finger swell right here, this little ramp, I'm assuming it's not made to be a skinner. But if it can handle those kind of mediocre tests, then what it's made for, you can use this all day long. You know what I mean? If you're talking about, you got a package of a real knife come through the mail and you got one of these, you open it with, that works. I mean, as far as underpriced, in my car I keep a Case Caliber. It's their entry level blade. It's still better than this, but and that's what I use it for. When I go to the mailbox and I pick up a new package or whatever, I got my Case Caliber right there, and I open it up. I leave it in my car 24/7. Something like this can be used for something like that. And, you know, real world. You know, this is some teenager's personal protection right here. You know what I mean? Some kid thinks, oh, it's cool and it's dirt cheap and I can afford it because it's a, I don't know, $15 knife maybe. Then you know, any kid would be happy to own something like this, because for the most part it's going to stay in their pocket, because, you know, they're a tough guy, so they have it in their pocket until it actually has to come out to use. So there's not much using the knife, you know what I mean? It's more of just having it that makes people feel better, and that's good. One thing I did notice, when I do press the lock, it starts to close automatically, so just remember that. As it gets older, it's going to loosen a little bit, and you don't want that cutting from fingers. So when you do lock it, hold it upside down and then hit it, or hold it as you do it. Otherwise, you might damage some skin. Don't do that. And it's not all that great. You can feel the tension come up on it, which isn't bad. It opens solid. We'll find out. I'll bang on that lock a little bit later. But right now, it's sitting here and talking to you guys, you got to be bored out of your skull. So let's go do some stuff. All right, stuff happened to be right around the corner. Here we are. Let's take this guy and put it through a bottle. I don't even see any water spray. Let me go get that. Hold on. All right, I told you it's not shave sharp. It's barely water sharp. I mean, water bottle sharp. Look at that. Let's try that again, because that was horrible. And normally, if something screws up, I'll tell you it's user error or whatever. I messed up. No, I hit that thing solid. So let's try that again. Well, it's so not sharp that instead of cutting through the bottle, I hit it and it had so much pressure that the top freaking flew off. That was screwed on there. That's how little sharpness this thing has. I can see a line where I hit it, but there's no water coming through that line. So let's at least, well, we know it can stab. But holy crap, that's this many, in case you guys having trouble with that. That's 2 full swings on a freaking water bottle, and this blade could not penetrate. Wow, that sucks. Let's keep going. All right, so when a knife comes out of the gate failing a water bottle test, that is that's pretty sad. Let's see if we can. Oh, look at that though. You know what? For a knife that couldn't cut through a water bottle, it did all right with a really thin piece of stick. But as the stick gets thicker, and this is a twig. As it gets thicker, I could barely damage it. Let's see. I could barely take skin off with this damn thing. Let's see. I'll work this angle. Man, this is one of the most useless knives I've ever picked up. Here we go. I'm getting a little bit of angle and starting to hit this. I guess worst case scenario. Man, this is horrible. Worst case scenario, if you got a couple minutes, you could use it as a pencil sharpener. But it's not even a good, like normally I'd say, okay, you can make some nice pit spikes, catch some animals, but it would take you forever with this damn thing. That's pretty sad. Let's see here. That is pretty sad. Trying to break a twig. All right, so that worked out. Let's see. Hey, look at that. We got the stick. I didn't expect that to happen, honestly. So I'm going to hit this piece, which is still a pretty fat piece, and see if I can't baton that off. Let's see. All right, so it will baton. You know, that's a 1/2 inch piece right there. It will baton, and let's see if it doesn't damage it. I'm really gonna have to put an edge on this thing. This is factory edge. I don't touch edges before I review them, because I want you to see how it's coming to me, because that's how it's gonna come to you. And this factory edge sucks. Batoning, I mean, I could baton with a butter knife, so fire engine, so that's not saying much. But let me wait for this siren to go by. Woo! Woo! Be safe out there, boys. So, I mean, you can baton with it, but that doesn't make it good for it. As a matter of fact, I don't know if there's much good for anything with this knife. I definitely can't cut that. But let's see if we can't hammer through it. Well, wow. I couldn't even, come on. It's just literally, oh, I took some off there. But I mean, I was literally folding the fibers around the blade, pushing into the stump. That is awful. All right, let's do a couple drop tests. Let's see how straight she lands from 4 feet up in the air. All right, balance isn't horrible. I should be able to throw it later. It's not too bad. Let's do a couple downward throws. See if we loosen it up. We'll check the bite. All right. The bite's not bad. It's got the same little wobble as it had, so that didn't really change. I would love to show you more shaving stuff, but it's just not good enough. Let's see. We'll do a little different kind of baton here, all the way down. Some kindling, and it can be used for that. No surprise there. Anything, that comes to that, it doesn't even really have to be sharp. I could literally use a file, and as long as you hit it right, you're going to do that. So that's not telling. What that mainly does is if the edge is super, super weak and bad, what it's going to do is you're going to get folds, or the blade is going to warp from doing that. And that's what that test really does. A lot of people say, oh, can it baton? Because they're going to show you could baton with just about anything. You know what I mean? You could baton with a spoon. So don't let people fool you into thinking that batoning is the tell-all on blades. What it tells you is if the edge is going to be strong, not if the knife can baton. Of course a knife can baton. You're hitting it with a stick onto a piece of wood. So that's going to happen no matter what. There's not really much I can do with this knife because it doesn't have an edge that's appropriate. You know what I mean? There's only so much I can do. What I want to do is try and see if I can use this little finger hold to see if we can skin through some leather. So let's go find that soccer ball. Found it. It's exactly where I left it. So that was kind of misleading. I already knew where it was. All right, so let's see if we can't drop this tip into this ball. I'm using every bit of power I have. That's like 10-year-old girls worth. And I was able to scratch it, but I couldn't get through it. So having these means nothing, because the purpose of this would be to do that, to skin with. But apparently they have it on there just for looks. And I'm not going to lie to you, it doesn't even look that good. So, it doesn't do that either. Well, there's only one more thing to try. Let's go try it. All right, so far we haven't found anything fun to use this knife for. Forgot to check that spine lock here. Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll find out throwing it if I miss and it hits the backside of the blade or the side. Generally, you're gonna that lock would have some damage doing that. But let's throw it and see if we can at least salvage something out of this freaking knife review. All right, and I told you earlier that it felt pretty good, like it would be decent to throw. I just, you know what I mean? I just had that feeling. If you throw knives, then you know what I'm talking about when you pick something up and you think, yeah, I could chuck this. That was just, it was really, really easy out of the hand. I mean, it was literally didn't even take an effort. Normally on a weak blade where I'd have to worry about it breaking, I'd start at 3 yards. That one I just went right to my 5-yard spot and boom, just easy. That's the only positive I've had about this knife. Is it's really easy to be a 3 to 5 yard thrower. So if you want something to open letters and then to throw into a dartboard, by all means. Otherwise, ugh. All right, let's take it over there and check it out. The Frost Cutlery, one word, TacForce. You know, I like to let you know if I do or don't recommend something by its performance, not just the picture on the box. And I have to say, without a shadow of a doubt, I do not recommend this knife. Not because of the looks, and definitely not because of the way it throws, because I could have a little bit of fun doing that. It's just poorly honed. And who knows, maybe it's just this one, and some others you get might have a really good edge on it, which I just can't see. But what I'm going to do is make my own edge on it, because it's disappointing to have a knife that can't cut through a plastic freaking water bottle. So I'm going to do a little tooling on that edge and just make it something I can actually use around the house. It will definitely not be a any kind of everyday or even some days carry, but it will be part of the collection, and I will find uses for it because that's what I do. And I hope you learned enough to not buy this. I am Donnie B all day, and until next knife.